Hey there, fellow golf addicts, fellow golf obsessed, fellow golf geeks, fellow golf nerds. I've got a new product. Brand new, just arrived, the ShotScope V3. I'm very excited about this. So I've got this brand new box. I've got this knife. What do you say? An unboxing? See what's inside this thing? It's McEwen Reviews It. It's a special edition of What's in the Box?
What's in the box?
Let's do it. All right, so ShotScope V3. It is the third version of their ShotScope watch. It is also the third version of the ShotScope watch that I have personally owned. I was a bit of a ShotScope hipster, quite honestly. I was on board very early with the V1, which was really just kind of a blank-faced block that you wore on your wrist. Nothing fancy, but it did, it tracked your shots and it helped you with your statistics and things like that, which we'll get into a little bit more. The V2 that came out a few years back was updated with the GPS part of the watch. So then it had a face on it that you could read. It gave you all your distances to all the hazards. You could download courses. It still did all the other things that V1 did, including shot tracking and statistic collecting and creating a metrics score sheet or scorecard, so you could track all of your distances, you could track all of your shots, you could track your strengths, you could track your weaknesses, and you could really learn more about your game. Now, the V3 has all those things as well, but now apparently it's in a much smaller package. So I'm told that this is essentially the size of an Apple Watch. If you listen to my latest Golf Origin stories, last week's, my Golf Origin story podcast from June 30th, you would have listened to Gavin Deere, who is the Chief Communications Officer for ShotScope, and he talked all about what this thing can do. And he also talked about the origins of ShotScope itself, which is a really fun conversation. So if you want to learn more about that, go listen to the podcast. But what I can tell you is they have integrated some color onto the screen, and they have also integrated color into the bands. So now you can change those out, which is pretty exciting because we all know that golfers like to coordinate. It's what we do, our hats and our shirts, although I'm not very color coordinated right now. But anyways, we do like to do that kind of stuff. So you can change it up if you want to. Totally your call. Anyways, let's open this thing up, shall we? I feel like that was very anticlimactic since it was just the one piece of tape, but okay. Get rid of that. There it is. In all of its glory here. Little box, some bands here. Oh, the band's already better than what it was before. Interesting little factoid. If you already did listen to if you haven't listened to the Golf Origin stories, spoilers, but there is actually an antenna in these wristbands, which I found pretty interesting. So inside here, we've got the charger. Essentially, it looks like very similar to like a Fitbit charger, which is what I'm wearing right now, but it looks like it will clasp, so to speak, on to the watch. It's got a little example of, it's a little blurry, example of what the watch would look like. Take that off. Now, yes, I can already tell you that this watch is much smaller. I mean, it's basically, this is my Fitbit that I'm wearing right now. It's about the same size. Actually, it's a little smaller, I think, at least a little slimmer, which is interesting. So when I wear my Fitbit, sometimes if it comes down where I'm cupping my wrist, it'll actually turn the thing on or hit a notification button or whatever. But this one seems like it won't because it's much narrower. Now compare that to, where is the V2 that I've got? Oh man, yeah, compare that to the V2. So V2, V3. Look at that. That is a major difference. This thing looks, I used to think this thing was an improvement from V1. Look at that. That's well, boy, that is that's impressive right there. I mean, look how much more space that is. Very cool. So let's check out, let's see what else is in the box, shall we? I'll bet it's some tags. User manual, always important. So the way that this thing works, essentially, besides a little bit of magic as far as I'm concerned, you have these tags. Each tag is labeled with the club, so driver down through putter, and they do give you some extras because I know some people have more than the normal amount of whatever it is, 14 clubs to play in. But yeah, so here's this one. This is the 5-iron right here, labeled very clearly, but not to distract or anything. It's matte black on matte black, basically. And these little nubs, just like any other, so you've got a bunch of them here, go into the butt of your club, just like any other shot tracking, right? So you screw that in there, and then what happens is it goes swoop right into the top of the club, right there. So that's what it looks like, not distracting. You don't notice it at all. Now, the cool thing about ShotScope, if you're not familiar with ShotScope, is that you're not wearing anything on your belt or in your pocket. You don't need anything, you don't need your phone on you to communicate with the watch. It's going to store all of your information in the ShotScope watch itself, and it will just automatically track shots. No, I don't know how it works. It's magic, I told you, but it works, it does it. And so when you're just out there playing golf, no big deal. You've got essentially everything you need right there on your watch. You've got the GPS, all your hazards, sand traps, water, front, middle, back on greens, all of those things you'll have. In fact, it auto switches when you get onto the green. It knows you're on the green and it flips. So instead of showing you your yardage, it's waiting for you to register where the hole is and how long your putt was, which we'll also talk about. But otherwise, this thing just tracks your shots. It just does it. And then when you're done, you end your round and then you sync it up and it goes into the cloud, and then you can access all that data. Your lengths for each club, your all sorts of different statistics, proximity to the hole, fairways hit, 2 putts, 3 putts, up and downs, all those things. And they kind of incentivize you by creating these medals that you can collect, whether it be playing a different course in a different state or a different country, or different things that you do or trying to do on a golf course. Say like get up and down, right? Save par, number of bogeys, number of birdies, number of pars, all that kind of stuff gets up there. They have thought of a lot of things to track, and they do all that data manipulation for you, and they create it in a nice little scorecard, and you can check it out, and it's beautiful. The other thing they do too is these things called leaderboards. If you're not familiar with those, leaderboards are brilliant. So basically, anyone that's got a ShotScope can join different leaderboards using unique codes, or there's public leaderboards, and you can join those leaderboards. And basically, if you have friends or whatever that also have a ShotScope, you can compare rounds with one another and see how they've done, see what medals they have, all these different really, really cool things. They've just made it this social piece of it really fun. They've made, obviously, the data piece of it super interesting and helpful for golfers to get better. And then, of course, it's tracking your score and your play. You can pull up a golf course and see all of your shots. It gives you just a nice map of it. It's incredible stuff. And it all does it without tagging. There's no dongle or hitting cameras for that matter. So let's continue, shall we? Here is our handy dandy little, very small print user manual. So there's some things that you can do first. Charge your device. So we'll see if this thing turns on. If not, I'll be back. But otherwise, you download the app. If you already have an account like I do, you're going to be up and running pretty quickly. And then it's really it. Let's see, there's some tips on here. Charge your device, download the app, complete the setup before you go play. Good idea. Performance dashboard gives you a more detailed analysis of your statistics, while the app gives an overview. Good to know. Here's one. If you need a course updated or you need a course mapped, and in the early days of V1, when they were still kind of building their course mapping, because they do all of it themselves, again, listen to the podcast, Golf Origin Stories. Gavin talks about all this stuff. If you hit them up, boy, they quit. They are quick. They get on that thing and they get it uploaded, usually within 48 hours. 2 days, you have your course mapped, or you have it updated, whichever it is, whichever you need. It talks about pin collect, which we will discuss. And then that's really it. You can edit your round before signing off to ensure that all your data is completely accurate. I haven't really had to do that a lot with the V2. Every once in a while, it'll do something funky with it. But usually, and even now, even more so with the V3, because they've updated their GPS technology to be even better, to be even more accurate, so it tracks your shots even better than it did before. So let's find out if this thing turns on. Oh, there it goes. Well, it's already got like a good charge of battery. It's got more than 3/4 battery in there. So we need to connect to the app. Oh, it wants me to connect band. So I'm going to connect band. It says connected on the watch. Yeah, and already when I went and accessed the app, it's got all my previous rounds on there from the V2. So it's just going to continue collecting statistics, and it's not like you're hitting reset when you get the new V3, which is really cool too. We're going to do some updating of the firmware. While that's happening, I will also talk about how this thing, how they manage these the upgrades to these. So it's super cool. When I first got the V2, leaderboards didn't exist, medals didn't exist, all those kinds of things didn't exist yet. What they do is they update the firmware and give you these upgrades for free. There's no subscription. It all comes with the ShotScope V3. It came with the ShotScope V2 as well. And they just make things better. And I know they already have some updates planned out a little bit into the future, but when they've got something new and cool that they think golfers will like, it kind of just shows up on your watch after an update. It's pretty cool. And based on what they've done in the past, I'm very excited to see what they continue to do, because I really feel like the leaderboards were a total game changer. The medals were super fun and they're super addicting. It's just like Pokemon for golfers, right? You just continue to collect these medals. It's so much fun. We're still updating the firmware, so I'm having a beer. Okay, 98, 99, 100%. Firmware update complete. Your ShotScope device will now reboot to complete the update. Okay, and continue. Rebooting. That did take a little while, so I would probably recommend doing this at home before you get to the golf course, before you play. Have a strong Wi-Fi signal, all those kinds of things, because it will take a little bit. All right, it's rebooted. We'll connect the band. It's doing some setting up. All right, firmware is up to date. All right, time. You can select between a 24-hour and 12-hour mode. I'll do 12-hour. Continue. We'll do yards instead of meters, so yards. Do you use right-handed golf clubs? Yes, I do. Continue. So it goes through some setup. If you're a right-handed golfer, you need to wear this on your left hand, which most of us, as you can see here, I wear a Fitbit on my left hand because that's what you're supposed to do with a Fitbit, I suppose. Okay, and now it gives you a little tutorial. Let's see. You can tap subscribe on courses you play regularly to receive the most recent course maps. That's great. Add any new course when it is made available through our in-house mapping team. And if your course isn't mapped, request it and have it mapped within 5 working days. I think they're usually quicker than that. I know they've been quicker than that in my case. So go to courses. Off we go. Band is connected. and it's showing all sorts of different courses here. It looks like you can do some searches. I'm going to play, in fact, tomorrow, because I gotta test this thing at Thunderhawk Golf Club, and there it is. I'm going to grab it and continue. Now it starts going through, match each tag to the corresponding club and screw into the grip. So we go and do that. Now it talks about you can create your own bag, so you can personalize your bag, what's in it. You know, as many entries as you want, unlimited entries, and then you can make some data-driven club choices. When you go look at your data and you say, I know how long I hit my 7-iron, I know how long I hit my hybrid, all those kinds of things, it's right there, and it can help you play better, make better decisions on the golf course. Onboarding is complete, okay, and that's it. That is it. So you can go through, a nice bright screen there for you, go through some options. You can go through the history, go through the settings. Let's go look at the settings. It's got units. We already chose yards. It's got time. We already said, oh, it's putting. Putting is auto or manual, so we'll leave it at auto. What else they got on here? Anything else exciting? It's pretty much the same as, you know, the V2 for the most part, it seems like. But wow, much lighter, much smaller. Seems like it's going to be much easier. You have a play, GPS, and track. You can turn off tracking. You can just use it as GPS. You can have it just track shots. So if you're playing in a tournament or something that doesn't allow GPS, you can still use it and still kind of you know, track your shots even in a tournament. Perfectly fine. But that's it. That's set up. That's the V3. So what does that mean? The next step. Boy, look at that thing. Can you believe that? That's the Fitbit. This really is about the size of an Apple Watch. That's pretty. Boy, that thing is nice, comfortable band too. A much better band than the V2. Much looser. The V2 is a little more stiff, a little thicker. This is pretty nice. And yeah, you can swap those things out. So one last step. Let's check out this this charging mechanism they've got here real quick. So I will need to charge this thing since I'm playing tomorrow. Oh, it's simple enough. Yeah. That's it. Just clips on there. Plug it into a computer, plug it into whatever you've got. Everyone's got those charging bricks nowadays. And that's it. Pretty self-explanatory. So that's it. That is the new V3 Shot Scope unboxing. I'm pretty excited about this. Look at that nice bright screen too. Look at that. Bright. I like it. So now I gotta go test it on a golf course, right? Gotta set up my clubs. And oh, that's another thing I forgot to mention. From the V1 to the V2 and now to the V3, if you used those previous versions, you don't need to replace all those grip nubs. They will continue to work just fine. I haven't had any issues. In fact, I have 2 bags of extras over the years that I've just collected and saved for whatever reason, in case I got another club or whatever, another driver, and I wanted to swap those things out. I'd have another kind of X nub I could use. But yeah, that makes things really easy too. But nevertheless, let's go take this to the golf course. But not right now. I mean, it's nighttime. It's late. So the next episode, McEwen Reviews It, out on the golf course with the V3. We're going to run it through its paces. I will show you what it looks like when we upload data, and I'll give you a walkthrough of their dashboard so you can see all the things that this little tiny magical device can deliver for a golfer. Until then, McEwen Reviews It. This has been What's in the Box?
What's in the box?
The V3 Shot Scope. One more reminder, if you want to learn more about this thing from the people that designed it, go listen to the Golf Origin Stories with Gavin Deere. I'll put a link in the notes. Go check it out, and we'll we'll see you next time on the golf course with my new ShotScope V3. We'll see you.